It is.
I'm just here to say, hey, I have to go.
Good.
We'll take care.
I've got court. Joe had his baby yesterday, so
Cool.
I'm double booked. They welcomed their third daughter.
So Malia, do you want to tell them that will be waived?
Yeah, so the Apple River
Ordinance.
ordinance is gonna be moved to the next meeting next month. So I can be here to address that.
All right. Everything else, we got our own legal say.
Okay.
Oh.
I was sworn in, so.
Wait, I was gonna say, we didn't get an administrator for nothing. All right. Well, let's open up the meeting. Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Tracy, is there a second? Second by Doug. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Approval of the minutes from our last May 1st meeting.
So move.
So moved is not a motion.
I moved, sorry. Second.
We got John doing that so much. It's that guy, the gal. We all do it. All right. Any questions on that? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay. Public comments? None?
None.
We have nobody else here. We have no other supervisors, nobody hiding behind me. No, we have somebody. Public, are you here for public comment or anything? No. Okay. Number 5, there's no other supervisor not on the air. Start with our annual reports.
Sure. Morning, everyone. I have the land information side of the Environmental Services Division annual report. It's kind of a lot of verbiage. I have Tim Anderson here and Logan Hacker, who are the respective team leads and managers in those areas. They will kind of give some high points. Obviously, I wasn't quite here in 2023, but I will give you one of these. So yeah, so we'll start with Tim Anderson to go through the division of surveyor, GIS mapping and then planning. And then Mr. Hacker can kind of wrap up the zoning division.
All right.
Good morning.
Good.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tim Anderson. I'm the county planner and recently the team lead for land info. So as Sarah described, there's a couple different parts to the environmental services division, and one of them is the land information side, and that is split into two. We have zoning, which Logan will talk about in a few minutes, and then the land info side, which includes the surveyor, our GIS coordinator, planning, and real property lister. First and foremost, it's an important department. It does a lot of things that the public and our residents and the businesses in this county really utilize. We have an outstanding team. Currently, our surveyor is Ed Flanham. I think you all remember Steve Geiger, who was our surveyor for a long time, retired last year. We'd have Ed replacing him, and he's doing a fantastic job. We have our land information technician, which is Tracy Klatt. Our real property lister is Paula Fetter, and our GS coordinator is Brad Runneberg. First and foremost, I'll start with the surveyor and real property lister and some of the things that they do and what's been happening in the year 2023. So the surveyor is a required function of county government in the state of Wisconsin, and primary responsibilities include setting and maintaining the public land survey system corners, which are the backbone of the real property system in the state. Over 3,000 of these PLSS corners exist in the county, and basically all of them have been restored thanks to the work of the surveyor and the assistants that he's had. Ensuring that these corners are accurate provides a lot of assistance for our county surveyors and for title companies, those kinds of things. And of course, all of us are want to know exactly what our real property looks like and where our boundaries of our properties are. So having those accurate corners really helps with any private land surveying that's happening in the county. The surveyor reviews land splits, processes subdivisions and ownership transfers to ensure that they conform to the rules and regulations of both the state and the county. In the last year, in 2023, over 3,500 documents were processed, such as property transfers and splits, in that section between the real property lister and the surveyor division. The real property lister processes accurate ownership and description information for the over 45,000 parcels that are in the county currently, and works together with the GIS coordinator to get that information out on our GIS site so that it's accessible to the public at any time. Moving on to GIS, again, an incredibly important function for our county. I think all of us understand that digital information is the future, and having this information available at any time is critical. The GIS coordinator manages all the data online, including our mapping programs, aerial photography, parcel mapping, parks info and locations, and much more. All this information is used regularly by staff, businesses, and residents here in the county. Another critical duty for the GIS division is managing the 911 database and the coordination they have with dispatch and law enforcement, especially in emergency situations, to get people and the emergency responders to the right place at the right time. One of the unexpected projects that happened for the GIS division last year was the transition from our previous online web guide Extreme, which was sold and so could no longer be utilized, into the new Beacon platform. So that's the place that hosts all of our parcel information, aerial photography, LiDAR, water bodies, all that fun digital information that you guys can access in real time. That was a huge lift to get all of that data, terabytes and terabytes of data across to a new platform in a short amount of time. Another task that the GIS division picked up this past year was the rural addressing project. Some of you may know that in mid of 2023, previous zoning administrator departed, and that was a critical role for them to fill. And in the gap between our previous zoning administrator and our new zoning administrator, the GIS division has picked up the slack and worked on moving forward with those projects. And you can see in the annual report the list of towns that are either completed or in process for updating the rural addressing. And something I'm familiar with, planning. I was rehired back in September of 2023. And the planning role provides long-range planning for the county, especially our comprehensive plan. A few of the other projects that I'm currently working on are the outdoor recreation plan, the farmland preservation plan in concert with the Land and Water Resources Department and West Central Wisconsin Regional Planning. That was kicked off in the fall of 2023. That plan will be due at the end of the year, so you guys will see a draft of that coming up in the next few months. One of the main things that the planning division did in 2023 in those few short months was help with the transition from the previous zoning administration and environmental service director to the new zoning administration environmental services director. There was a few months there where we didn't really have a whole lot of leadership in the department, so I stepped in and tried to help out with that. The outdoor recreation plan, I'll be working with Parks and Forestry on that, and that will also be due at the end of the year. And the other project that's beginning this summer is the bicycle and pedestrian plan that we have a grant for, and I'll be working with West Central Wisconsin Regional Planning on that. Those are some of the highlights from 2023. Any questions? Yeah.
On the 911 addressing, does that include cities too, or just towns?
I believe just townships.
Just townships? Okay. Interesting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm Logan Hacker, the zoning administrator. Go over a few of the highlights from the zoning report. Sanitary permits, or the state sanitary permits that we issue, those were down about 12%. We issued 312 of those permits. And we did have a significant increase in maintenance submissions. So those are from our pumpers and some plumbers that are inspecting systems, both for compliance and just pumping, holding tanks on a regular basis. So we had 9,028 maintenance activities. So that's good to see that, because we have had problems in the past with some pumpers not getting their maintenance submitted to us. So then the homeowner keeps getting cards from us, even though they got it maintenance. So it's good to see that number go up almost 54%. We did issue 175 new addresses. So this includes both new dwellings in the county, and then some people request addresses for vacant land or accessory buildings. To go along with all the addresses we changed in our town rural address project, which, like Tim mentioned, Brad was a big part of that, helping out when we didn't have a zoning administrator. He took that role on. As far as land use permits, we were only down about 2%. We issued 966 land use permits. 157 of those were new homes, which is only down, I think, 3 homes, down 1.9%. And then subdivision reviews were down about 10%. One of the highlights I just wanted to mention was, due to us not having a zoning administrator, from August on, I just wanted to recognize Winter. She started last year as the administrative assistant and zoning specialist. So she did help until she went on maternity leave. And then both zoning specialist Kara Cook and myself for taking on that extra role that was left vacant by the zoning administrator position. And also wanted to thank the rest of the environmental services division for their help in both guiding and assisting us in that extra workload that was taken on by, which now we have 5 staff. At that time we had 2, so it was quite a bit to work through. So that kind of just goes into the current staff. We have fully staffed as far as what we envisioned. We have Hannah Calicote as our administrative assistant. Dylan Barr is our compliance technician. And then Winter Chmielewski and Kara Cook are our zoning technicians, and then myself as the zoning administrator. There's some graphs and some numbers. As you can see, the housing has been pretty consistent over the last 4 years. It seems, right between that 140 to 150 to 60 area. So nothing crazy in the trends. It doesn't seem as of right now. Land use permits seem to be right around that 1,000 per year in the last 3 to 4 years as well. Is there any questions?
So far this year, it's going pretty good permit wise.
Yeah, we're ahead on sanitary permits. We're a little behind on land use, not too bad. It's just from where we were last year, yeah.
We have 4 properties that have come into compliance with our new compliance technician. So he is working, and well, they are all working, but it's a start.
It's a good start, yep.
Compliance is-
Yep, I know we have some citations out there trying to get some other properties in compliance, but so.
Okay. The committee has any questions on the report or the Land and Water Resources Annual Report, just feel free to shoot me an email or stop in.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, we can take like district appointments.
Sure.
Let's take that. So,
You want me to talk on this?
Yeah.
Currently these are the current appointments. What I did was just the people that were newly elected, replacing the ones that were existing on there. So I kind of kept it simple that way and not moving it around, but these are the appointments for the elected officials.
You need a motion.
And these, they can change per our rules if somebody wants to get off or on or something, they can,
Someone to replace them,
somebody to replace them.
but the
Yeah,
announcement of them have to come through this committee though.
sure. So this you'll be doing at the next board meeting,
This will be on county board also for confirmation of the like appointments.
so we can just, yes, we probably need a motion to move it.
I
to
make
the
a
board.
motion, we move it to county board as
Presented.
presented.
Okay. Right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Tracy. All right. Any other questions? Anyone? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, that moves to the full board. Number 11 is really nothing, isn't it?
Well, Amanda
They're
did,
not-
yeah, Amanda did stop in, I'm sorry, Amanda Nissen, the county treasurer, did stop in and talk to me and just said that she and Malia are working through the legalities of the statute changes regarding tax deed properties. The committee should see the properties in the fall, this coming fall regarding, because I think she does anticipate moving through the tax deed process. And so, and she did mention that in a typical year, there would be somewhere like 400 properties. And this year it's already reduced to like 200 properties. So, and by the time we get through processing them as far as the tax deed process, it usually whittles down to like 5 to 10. But,
It's been pretty low.
right, but she did say that this fall, the committee would see the list in more of a comprehensive format. So,
Sure, how we have to do it.
right, but she said the statute did change and that she is working with council on the legalities of everything that's needed to be done.
Okay.
Okay.
What do we got? 10 minutes. Do we need a budget overview?
I don't know, Sherry, can you do it in 10?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, whoa.
Hey, quicker the better, right?
Yes, yes.
Nobody wants the finance person up there talking too long.
Well, everybody knows Sherry Poyer, the finance director. The director of finance, I don't know, Sherry.
Great. Well, everybody, I'm up here to try and fill Don Wortham's shoes here while he's out. Give you a quick update on the early overview for budget, kind of the external factors influencing it, high level. I don't have a lot of information yet. Obviously, we're still early in the process, but just kind of give you a heads up on where we're starting. So, So again, early view situations described are subject to change and the implications of the 25 budget are therefore subject to change. So we're aware. Kind of the external influences that are impacting this could be inflation is sitting at about 3.4% in April, which is down very, very slightly from the prior month and down from 5% year over year. And the Fed has kept the rate steady at 5.3%, but overall kind of spending has weakened over time. Unemployment rate, 3.9%. Again, it's been in a pretty narrow range for about the last almost year now. But it's up year over year, fewer unfilled jobs month over month. So there's just generally a cooling labor market, which can be, I guess, good for the actual dollars being spent, right? Might not get quite as impactful. And just kind of the prior year situation was that last year there was concern about bank issues, and the Fed was concerned by commercial real estate exposure. So this year, just kind of those external factors that could somehow influence some of what we see overall. Okay, yep, again. Sorry, there's little tabs that he put in there. Not my presentation, I apologize. And on so just the actual county side, our thoughts on this revenue for 2025. Sales tax, we've consistently been budgeting it a little bit lower. We tried to get back up to a closer level of where it should be last year, a little bit more on par with it. This year, we're looking to model about 5 million Last year it was at 4.85, so looking for a slightly higher sales tax. The levy, looking at about 23.4 million. Again, that won't be known until we get more factors out there, but you know, again, the slight increase only for the net new construction is pretty much where we sit. Transfer from the general fund, we are initially modeling zero. We like to not spend any money on operations for the general fund if we can avoid it, obviously. And then the bonding and borrowing issues that the 5-year model, PMA, I think presented at GenGov last month on this, but we're looking at about 2 million available if that's what the board chooses to do. Oh, next slide. Oh, if you want to go back one, Claire, sorry. So yeah, sales tax is just proportional to inflation, essentially. The levy obviously is a lot less, and no operational support from the general fund. On the expense side, so the cost of living early estimate is 2.6%. We know for sure the benefits are going to be more expensive in 2025. So both of these items are going to add more budget pressure, specifically the benefit side of things. For operations, the non-employee costs, we're modeling 0%, which, as Don likes to say every year, is essentially a decrease for everybody. The capital expenditures, total estimate for 25 is between 1.5 and $2 million on capital projects. Again, funding source to be determined based on bond, borrow, or general fund. And I think that's about it. Yeah. The notes on there for employee expense, non-employees under increased pressure. So essentially, like I said, very, very early high-level view of what's going on, but overall, departments are probably not very thrilled with the situation right now as far as their spending is concerned, but we will be working towards, we have gotten all of the pieces of the budget out to the departments to start working on now. So they should be working with their committees in the upcoming months here to determine priorities going forward, and as we will update you as we get more information made available. Any questions?
The CIP, are we going by the old 5-year one? Or are we gonna start a new one, or is that the 2 million will be coming used?
CIP, sorry.
I can speak on
Go
that.
ahead.
Yeah, you know, as every budget season, we update the 5-year plan, you know, as projects jockey and stuff. The 2 million right now we're looking at for borrowing to keep our levy flat and not go into our savings due to interest rates right now, and borrowing would make more money borrowing money at this time to keep our levy straight. We have several large projects coming out. One in particular in highway that's $850,000 cost share of a $4.4 million project. You know, so that's one we're looking at bonding. The only one that's really sitting out there in facility side is the HVAC controllers, an update for the Justice Center building over there. That's sitting out there at about 1.4 million, 1.3 million. We're looking at that project though more out in 2026 with the initial year of borrowing, taking pressure off the levy for the highway projects, and then switching to facilities and some other ones. We do have some other projects coming forward that'll be in there as a mix of financial software and stuff like that. But right now it's looking real as we look at other areas to secure that bonding for those projects. As I said at the last meeting, we did get awarded another couple highway projects totaling $4.4 million. So that's another $850 cost share coming up in 2027. You know, and right now their construction budget is $2 million. So if we rip that apart, that $850, that leaves us little room for our own staff to keep our road program moving, these are good projects for the bonding. You know, you never want to bond. You don't want to bond to buy a squad car because before you're done paying it off, you know, you already left, it's already gone down the road. Infrastructure, buildings, bridges, highways, the big stuff is what we want to bond for, to not go into our savings account. We have several other strategies that'll come up with some other committees. Sales tax was up in May, 5.8%, about $103,000 over last year. you know, which is nice to see coming out of April, which is basically flat.
All right, so hopefully our CIP, so we don't get behind on buildings again and cost 3 times what they were bid at.
Correct, and we've
That's what I'm shooting for a little bit.
absolutely, yeah, Endeavor's roof is one that's out there. About
Okay.
$500,000, that's probably one big roof there.
Are we starting like a maintenance account or something and put some of that in there?
Yes, we put a couple $100,000 in the facilities budget,
Okay,
for deferred maintenance, so he can keep up on, you know, the small stuff as it
Yeah,
comes up and
between
keeps
stuff.
going versus
Okay.
it all coming down to a big project like the renovation of the government center.
sure. Okay. All right.
Got that list.
Anyone else? Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sherry.
Oh, do your update in 4 or should we just
Oh,
break and we better break and get ready.
yeah, I have a few other things to talk about. 4 minutes probably isn't.
Are we getting land and water? Because we got,
Well, they're
she's
actually,
sending us letters, so I want to know.
yeah. Just on the budget side though, really quick, I can make a few statements. For environmental services, our fee schedule is loaded. Per the committee, we are staying consistent with the fees from last year, just looking at where we're at in the county in general. Our entire division operates with less than $1 million of, of levy, so that's 0.06% of the overall budget. So yeah, all those services that we're looking at for, that cost with the revenue that we're bringing in, we're looking at it closely, trying to make sure that we're providing all the services, per the county board, the directives that we're receiving. But that's where we're at as I'm marching through this budget process. And the process has changed quite a bit in the 6 years. So just moving through all those stages. So we'll keep you informed.
All right. Here, we can get set up for our make a 2-minute break then.
That's what I
I got it.
I know. Oh, yeah.
Let's open up our first public hearing.
Oh,
That old submarine is just. Yeah.
So we'll start with the Cindy Little one. You want to read in?
All right, Cindy Little requests a district change from agriculture 10 A1 to residential agriculture 5 RA5 for a parcel located at 2218 230th Street in section 8, 35 North, range 18 West in the town of Eureka. The parcel number is 020-00208-0200, and it is an 8.64 acre parcel. Claire has it up on the map here. You see, this is the current dwelling and residence up in the northern portion of that parcel. It is 8.64 acres as stated. The intent of the rezone is due to the current zoning being Ag 10. They would not be allowed to create another parcel out of that. So going down to RA5, they are able to make one more parcel, due to them having over the 7.5 acres required. So the one extra parcel would be the max that they can create by rezoning this. The town did approve the rezone request, per their April 11th, 2024 meeting. The property is not located in the shoreland area. So this, I believe, is a man-made pond down there, or wetland area. But the property itself has no wetland, floodplain, or navigable water on the parcel. The parcel has access off of both 220th Avenue and 230th Street. So it is bordered by 2 town roads on the south and west side. The property was purchased in September of 1982. As stated, the current property does have a dwelling and approximately 4 accessory buildings, all on the northern portion. I believe the split, I don't think it's been completely decided, but it's approximately 4 acres is what they would split off. So approximately split in half. The county did provide a proper class 2 legal notice prior to this hearing and did not receive any public comments on this request. As far as the staff report, that's all I have.
All right, do we have anybody else here that is for or against this one? Anybody? Are the owners here? Do you have anything to add?
Can think of.
Okay,
It's just that there's plenty of room there. It would be an attractive building site.
okay.
And we have all good neighbors.
All right. Anybody else, any questions? It's no wetlands and all that, so. And the rezone. As the, okay. This is the old survey that's in our.
Yeah, that's just showing the current parcel.
So they're gonna divide lot 2 on this map.
Yep, that's the proposal, is to
Okay.
split that lot.
Do we have that like an exhibit 1 or 2 or something? So that it's in the file?
Yeah, I just had it part of their application showing the property that would be rezoned. I guess I didn't have they didn't have a actual survey, proposal yet.
Oh, I see. Okay. Till
Get it
that,
rezoned to then be able to split it off, but
okay. So we should just, as long as it's in our file, maybe exhibit this map. That's the one being used.
and then did you want to exhibit the town minutes too?
Yes. So we have 1 and 2. Anyone else, questions or anything? Be straightforward. All right, then let's go through findings of fact.
So yeah, the findings of facts are pretty similar to the staff report. The request involves an 8.64 acre parcel in the town of Eureka. The town approved the rezone request at their April 11th, 2024 meeting. The property is not located in the shoreline zoning area, and it is a mix of open field, pasture, as well as the residential development. The applicant purchased the property in September of 1982. The current property has a dwelling and 4 accessory buildings. The purpose of the rezone is to create one additional lot that is approximately 4 acres for a residential dwelling. The parcel has access off of 230th Street and 220th Avenue, which are both town roads. There is no wetland, floodplain, or navigable water on the parcel, and the county did the proper Class 2 legal notice prior to the hearing and did not receive any public comments for or against.
One question we forgot to ask, what is the zoning around it?
So
Is
yeah,
most of it about the same?
it should be down. Or you might have to go back to the zoning on the top.
Okay.
Or capital. Or on the drop down and save maps right there, go to, perfect, thanks. So Eureka kind of has a blanket egg 10,
Okay.
but egg 10 and RA 5, they both allow residential dwellings. There are residential dwellings pretty much surrounding that
Surrounding
property.
it, yeah.
So there is, I think, one larger egg field on the one side, but most
So
of it is residentially
It's pretty
used.
consistent with it.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be just, all right.
So the conclusions of law would be changing the zoning of this property to residential agriculture 5 is supported by the town of Eureka. Most of the surrounding lots are used for residential purposes. So rezoning the property does comply with the Polk County Comprehensive Plan and the existing and surrounding land use, and will not have a negative impact on existing public infrastructure. So the staff recommendation would be to approve this rezone to the full county board.
All right. Anybody, any questions? If not, we'll close this public hearing and we'll entertain a motion. And move to the board under consent agenda.
Yes. Consent agenda.
Second.
And you'll second. Any other questions or anything? If not, all those in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay. That one moves forward. They have to go to the surveyor and get it done now. Okay. All right. Read the next one in.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Next public hearing is the Anderson Trust. Joel Anderson and Brad Anderson requested district change from residential agricultural 5 to residential R1 for multiple parcels located in section 25, town 33 north, range 17 west, and section 36, town 33 north, range 17 west in the town of Lincoln. The first parcel is 032-01273-1100, and that is a 12.81 acre parcel. The second parcel is 032-01273-0000, and that is a 41.66 acre parcel. And the last parcel is 032-01278-0000, and that is a 25.82 acre parcel. So Claire has it up on the map here. If you could zoom out just a little bit, Claire, just to get all the parcels, one shot, so they're, scroll the other way, sorry. This is one parcel, this is the 41 acre parcel, and then the 25 acre parcel is further to the south there. They're all along or across the road from Bear Trap Lake. The intent of the rezone is to create potential lots on the backside of these residential dwellings for the dwellings that are across the road, to have a lot across the road for accessory buildings, and different items like that. I don't know for sure. I don't know if the applicant is here, but as far as the intent, if these are to be buildable dwelling lots that they're looking to create, or just, outlots with accessory buildings. But the town did approve the rezone request at their September 13th, 2023 meeting. About 58 acres is within the shoreland area. So that's within 1,000 feet of Bear Trap Lake. The rest is not within the shoreland area. And the current land use is a mix of forest and open grassland. There is a kind of what looks like pine plantation on the northern parcel and part of the middle parcel there. The current parcels have no structures on them. The parcels do have access off of a few different roads. So they have access off of 72nd Avenue, 118th Street, and then further south, there is, the land does join County Road F or 65th Avenue. The property doesn't have any wetlands, floodplain, or navigable water on the parcel. And I know in the past, these parcels, or like this parcel, has been split or subdivided. And I think that was back in 2019 that they created some lots out of there. And due to the zoning being RA5, I think they've exhausted their amount of lots that can be created in some of these areas, which is the reason for the rezone down to R1. If they did come in with a larger plat, that would, come back. If it's a major subdivision, that would come back to the committee. So it wouldn't, just by going to R1, wouldn't allow it to, be made into 30 lots. It has to go.
Or it'd go to the state.
Correct. Yep.
So then it would be a state
Yep.
plan. Yeah.
Just to clarify, as far as going down to the R1, it doesn't just allow it to be
Chopped
subdivided.
up any more than it is right now.
I mean, they could go, like that north lot, if it was still in RA5, and I think, if they did exhaust all their parcels that could be created out of that original parcel they owned, going down to R1 would allow that to be split, as staying underneath the 4 lots every 5 years, so.
Okay. So that would fit a comp plan, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So would any of those lots have access to the lake then?
Nope, they wouldn't create access to the lake for any of those lots. And Claire, if you could put the zoning district on again.
So the ponds are, if everybody knows, that's the sewer plant.
Yep, this is the Lake District for Wapo and Bear Trap, the
That's the
sanitary
sewer
district.
Sanitary district, yeah.
So you can see on a class 1 lake, it's the first 300 feet is all residential R1, and it's heavily developed. So this would be adjoining those parcels as R1, or so it's kind of in between the residential side on Bear Trap, and then there is more of, open land on the west side of these properties.
And there's no issue with the sewer district being able to handle all those lots?
I guess I did not hear from the sanitary district on anything when we sent them the notice. They would definitely be within the 300 feet, so they would have got a notice but I did not check with them as far as handling the extra parcels on their district.
I don't think there's access.
Oh, there would be
No, it
access.
isn't on the road. It's in
Ah.
the yards and stuff, so
Okay.
they'd have to do something, whatever, to hook up.
Well, it's here.
Okay. And that's all I have for the staff report. I think
All right.
the applicant is.
Is anybody here for this? Would you come up? State your name and,
Brad Anderson.
oh, why don't you go up to that? Oh, you're the one, you're the owner.
Well, no,
Or
I'm
one
not
of
the
them.
owner, but I represent, it's actually two trusts. It's my father and his brother's, deceased brother's sons, except another trust. They're
Okay.
co-tenants on it. And he's now in assisted living, so this has come to me, so.
All right. Okay, do you have anything to add or?
Well, these, over the years, this has been a culmination of several years of discussions. My dad has had considerable interest from people along Bear Trap to purchase lots across for parking and storage. And parking on that road is terrible anyway. I'd be awful optimistic that this would help that, but we were originally thinking of doing an R1 strip, you know, to catch those two lots up on the north side. Oh, that's not there anymore. Up on the north side and then do a 250-foot strip following, I forget, it's 85th Ave now or whatever it is.
Yeah,
But in discussions with Jason Cheesit, he suggested that we just take all three parcels and change them over to R1. Wouldn't affect the MFL that's on there, and it'd be easier and cheaper for everybody. Then that those lots along Bear Trap could be taken care of by CSM, as I understand it.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, we have no plans for a larger development, no plans to install a sewer main back there. So that's as much as I know about it. That's the intent. One thing that other thing that I might mention is up on the northwest corner of that, there's a property owner that has two lots right next to the sewer road easement. And they had requested to purchase two corresponding lots right behind their lots. And I don't know if that's starting to push the limit on what can be done, but
I think after the rezone, you'd have to come back and go through and get the dates and stuff, I think, and go through with Logan and
okay,
surveyor.
that'd be the sequence for that. Okay,
Yeah, I
Very
think
good.
that's how you'd have to work it backward.
that makes sense.
Okay,
But unless you have any other questions, that's what I know.
okay. Anybody have any more?
You mentioned that it's an MFL.
Yeah,
How does that, if you lot it off, how does that not affect the MFL?
That strip was originally held out.
The
MFL
200,
doesn't start until 250 feet in from the road limit.
but if you lot it off, it's gonna affect that MFL.
But it's not in the MFL.
it's not in it.
The
Okay.
250 feet, but when you rezone the whole thing and you sell lots off the whole thing, that will affect your MFL.
I checked into that, I believe it was Mr. Swanson. And he said that it would not affect the MFL.
Okay, we got,
Maybe I'm getting wrong information.
I think.
we got
it'd be good
Eric
to
here.
check
We'll
it out.
let's see.
I can speak to that a little bit. In the MFL application, you are allowed exclusions for building areas within the contract. So if that was excluded from the MFL contract,
The 250 feet was.
maybe all right.
Oh,
Yeah, it was, at the very get-go, it was excluded.
okay,
There might be a density piece to that though, too. So you may want to check further with Paul Heimstead,
Okay,
our county forester, DNR forester,
okay.
just for further clarification.
Yeah, I gotta look him up anyway for thinning and stuff, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So then, are you here too for this? Are you good?
Yep.
Okay. So just for us, I don't think that'll apply to this, to us, or this till they subdividing. So I think we're kind of safe to move it that way. Well, let's go through the findings and.
So the findings of facts, the Anderson Trust Properties. Is the request involves 3 adjoining parcels of 12.81 acres, 41.66 acres, 25.82 acres in the town of Lincoln. The town did approve the rezone request per their September 13th, 2023 meeting. Approximately 58.6 acres are within the shoreland area, and the current land use of the property is a mix of forest and open grassland. The current parcels have no structures. The purpose of this rezone is to create potential backlots for the dwelling lots that are on Bear Trap Lake. Parcels have access off of 72nd Avenue and 118th Street, which are both town roads, and potential access off of 65th Avenue, County Road F. There are no wetlands, floodplain, or navigable water present on the parcel. And the county did provide a proper Class 2 legal notice prior to this hearing and did not receive any public comments on this request. And then I will add in there that the property is in the MFL program, just to.
Oh, sure, okay. Okay, and the surrounding is,
Yes.
same thing with the surrounding zoning is residential anyway, that first 300 around the whole. Yeah, let's just, yeah, so we have that, it's the same.
Ready for the conclusions?
I think so, I think we should just exhibit maybe this map
Okay.
as all 3.
Yeah.
So it's in files, but by parcels. So we'd have the same town minutes in this map.
So the 2 exhibits.
Yes.
All right. The conclusions of law, changing the zoning of this property to residential or R1 is supported by the town of Lincoln. Most of the surrounding lots are used for residential purposes. So rezoning the property complies with the Polk County Comprehensive Plan and the existing and surrounding land use. So the staff recommendation would be to approve the rezone to the full county board.
All right, well, we can close this public hearing with that then. Well, if there's no other questions, and then I'll entertain a motion. To under the consent agenda. Okay, is there a second for that one?
I'll second it.
Second from Sharon. All right, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that one moves on too. So then, how soon is Apple River Solar?
I called, the representative from Apple River Solar during the public hearings and, they said they should be ready, so.
Oh, they're gonna do it
Zoom
Zoom?
it virtually. Yep.
Oh. Yay.
Have a name for them.
You want me to introduce them? Amber Miller.
I believe I see her.
Yes, I'm on. And I have a good morning. Thank you all for letting us speak to you. I think I can turn on my camera too. Yes. Okay. I have a couple of colleagues here also to talk about the project. We have Cassie Hass, who is our assistant project manager. We have Paul Farron, who is with Bolt, and we are expecting a couple more people. I believe Jason Fields with Bolt, who's the project manager, and Mark, who will be our site manager for this. And I do have just a couple of slides that I can share so that you all can see what we're proposing and run through a couple of things. So let me share my screen quick. Okay. For those of you who have been through the process with us, we have been working on Apple River Solar for quite a while, and we're now ready to start construction. So, or getting ready to start construction. You've probably seen some activity on the site. Out in the last few weeks, we've been staking the driveway locations so that we can coordinate with the county. And we also took down some trees for the project. This is our agenda. We'll run through the minor siting adjustments. The overall boundary has not changed. So let me just say that. The construction schedule and staging, and then stormwater and safety plan. So we just have a few things to kind of go through, and mostly we'll save a lot of time for any questions that come up. So what has changed? Within the dark black line, you can see was the overall footprint of the solar array. These two areas right here and that are whited out have been released, and those will not be built upon. This 88-acre site right here was part of the alternate array originally. We've needed to use this particular site because of these blacked out areas were primary array, and they are not they're not good building sites basically. So as typical in a project of this nature and size, the Apple River team evaluated the engineering, environmental, construction, and project management of the project to optimize the layout for the solar generation and the battery storage systems, and then also the impact on neighboring landowners and environment. What really was of particular relevance was the geotechnical testing report from the project. Consultant Terracon, they identified various subsurface soil conditions across the site, which are those black areas that we are choosing to avoid. So the layout has been divided into different zones, and those areas that are blacked out were the lowest quality zones. So you can also see that we've increased the setbacks in a couple of locations here, which is adjacent to these neighboring property owners. And then also along this area here, which is along the roadway. And then just a couple areas throughout the site, you can see we've just increased the setbacks a bit. So this is our latest layout. This is our 60% basically. What we're trying to do is optimize the site while creating as little conflict with adjacent property owners as possible. The substation was moved further north, and the BESS was moved just a little bit south from where it was originally proposed. and our equipment has been finalized. So that sort of gives you an idea. This is the breakdown. I thought this was always helpful so you can see where the project overall is. Now, as I said, this area here, over here, and up here have been released from the project. We completed our GIA. Our interconnection process has been completed as of January 23rd or 2023. We've completed the PPA, which is our power purchase agreement, was completed last September. The minor siting, which I just went through, was submitted to the PSC and the DNR, April 22nd. You've probably, if you've been out there, you've probably seen we planted a cover crop. And I believe it was a couple different kinds of clover and some barley, I think is what we ended up with. Notification, we've completed all our required notifications between the JDA and the CPCN. So all the local governments have been notified. The surrounding property owners have been notified. Anyone within 300 feet of the site has been notified of the pending construction start. We also had a on-site meeting with emergency responders, and that was May 3rd to kind of go through our emergency response and safety plan. And then our expected site mobilization for like the full group is July 10th. And then you'll probably see people out there as we get our SWIP through the DNR and coordinate with the DNR and getting the SWIP done. You'll see people out there setting up the BMPs for the silt fencing and the staking and everything. I will hand this off to one of our Bolt. Bolt is our EPC on this. And I think Jason should be on now, but yes, Jason Fields is on. So Jason, if you want to talk about the construction sequencing and schedule and that kind of thing.
Sure, I'm a little constrained here as I was still driving when I got the notice, so apologies for that. And my project manager Paul Farron is on, and he can help kind of fill in some of these blanks as well. But Jason Fields, project executive for Polk, currently based out of the Twin Cities, driving to headquarters today, rather inconveniently at this particular moment. But construction sequence, as far as what we're going to do, we're going to obviously mobilize in, install the yard there just south of Ducks, and then work in a spiraling clockwise sequence. And what I mean by that is we're going to start right in the middle and work that large central area, and then kind of work up north and then in a clockwise direction to finish out the project. So we do have sequence maps we can help provide to illustrate some of this better, but that's generally what the sequence is going to be. We're going to come in, we're going to do our BMP installation, then we're going to start our soil disturbances after we get our culverts and our road entrances in, grading done, and then come in with pile installation sometime in August, and then racking and other materials start showing up late September, early October. I'm going to build that out. Electrical installation for the underground trenching and the wires is going to start in October. Work up as far as we can into the winter until things get too cold or too soggy, depending on which one gets to become more of a constraint. And then modules actually start delivering out at the beginning of the year. Mechanical installation is going to continue on through the spring. Obviously, we're going to have some to respect road restrictions whenever those get enacted. So we will be having limited heavy loads going on during that time. The inverters, which is the responsible install. Yeah, show up middle of May.
Lost him.
We're losing them.
Oh, we're losing you, Jason.
I lost you.
Lost them completely now.
Paul, do you want to jump in? Paul Farren?
Yeah, I'll try to finish off. So in the springtime, he was talking about setting the modules. Usually, and then about mid-July, we have to turn over 3 of the systems or circuits to the client, and then the final circuits will be turned over later in the fall. As you see on here, the blue squares are going to be where we're getting our driveway permits, and we'll be contacting, we've already contacted most of the township in the county on that. Next week will be, if they need to walk down any of them, but applications and payment will start going in. We probably add a couple of those in there, extra per driveways for the laydown area. They have not been identified, so and then we do have a map of how we're going to route traffic around the construction area to try and limit impeding any of the homeowners or any of the traffic on Double J.
Do you also want to talk about signage for construction traffic?
Yes, so we'll be setting up, we have a sign shop at our office in Appleton. We'll be making up signage and putting those around the area to notify people of construction and where that construction traffic's gonna go. Anything else you want, Amber, on that, or?
No. Do you have an idea of like when deliveries will start? I think that's sort of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so, so right after the usually around the 4th, we're gonna try and get our contractor, civil contractor in to start, constructing our laydown yard for our trailers and that. And then they're probably going to start end of July in that circular, doing some of the grading at the sites, leveling them out, getting driveways in and stuff like that. Our piles, we're hoping to start getting delivery on piles mid-August, and we'll start driving right away on those. And we're trying to get a lot of that work done before the snow flies and we get, like Jason was saying, limited on frost depth. And then the winter, January, February, we're gonna curtail a lot of our activities back just because of the winter weather, and then come back out and start up work again. Probably a lot of our heavy stuff after the road bans come off.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Okay, so that gives us an idea of the construction sequencing and schedule. I have, I think Craig felt, I'm not sure if, oh, there's Spencer. I'm not sure who is going to talk through the stormwater. Craig or Spencer? Are one of you guys going to walk through the stormwater plan? Maybe not.
We know.
Amber, I'm not sure they have the ability to unmute themselves.
There they go.
There
you go.
Can you
guys hear
me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was like trying to figure out how to tell you I was permanently muted over here.
Sorry
Apologies. Yeah, I don't know if Craig can also be unmuted. I know Craig has been in the weeds a little bit more than I have, though I'm happy to kind of talk about high level, and Craig, you can kind of fill in the blanks. So thanks for pulling open the drainage map. This is the drainage map for Apple River. We have broken the site down into a series of subcatchments that have all been labeled here with the numbers. The green line, I believe, should be our time of concentration line, kind of the general flow arrows, and the red boundaries show where each of those subcatchments are draining to. The large arrows are showing general flow across the site of kind of where the actual discharge point is. Each of these subcatchments will be evaluated from pre to post conditions on the stormwater side. So we'll be looking at the precondition flows versus the post condition flows. And we'll be implementing a series of both temporary and permanent stormwater basins as needed to meet the Wisconsin stormwater regulations that have been kind of outlined in the plan sets to date. I don't know if you guys have seen those plans, though we do have basins graded in showing sizing, volume, and there is a supplementary stormwater management report that will be provided kind of detailing the nuances of each of these subcatchments, so you can have the design details of how Westwood sized each of the particular areas in question. I don't know, Craig, if there's anything in particular that you feel is worth noting for the board here. I don't know if there was anything Andrew wanted me to particularly specify, unless the team has any questions.
Yeah, I guess besides those drainage areas, we are proposing a bunch of temporary basins, like you mentioned, around these water bodies offsite to prevent contamination. We are proposing redundant sediment controls, so a lot of like extra best management practices, silt fence, that sort of thing, just to really make sure that all potential sediment stays on site, to really protect those areas. That's one of the things in our plan that we're really emphasizing.
So can we ask a question? Was this a condition also that the county has the copies of this, or does it, don't we, and checks this?
Yeah, we have the preliminary copies of this.
You have the preliminaries? And did you actually physically go out and check it?
Yeah, I guess one quick question is when that stormwater site construction permit would be applied for through the DNR, or when is that expected to be approved by?
Yeah, Amber, you're muted. I see you talking there, but I can chime in. We're submitting 2 NOIs for the project. So the first NOI is already into the state. That is to get started on the laydown yard, which Bolt will need to kind of commence their construction activities. The second NOI will be filed here in the next week or so. I don't know if we have it listed in our PowerPoint for you, but that'll be going into the state for the project at large in the next couple business days.
Yeah, and we had a call with the DNR and the PSC last week to kind of go over some high level things. And per Wisconsin regulations, we are retaining a third party inspector. So they will be out there to inspect the BMPs. They will be out there to inspect ongoing site construction to make sure that we stay in compliance throughout the project.
Would their reports come to the county also then?
You know, that's a good question. I know they go to the DNR because that's the regulatory body. I don't know. Does the DNR typically share those? I'm not really sure.
So
I don't.
Yeah, let's find out.
Yeah, if typically on any project that the DNR permits, the county would get that permit as well, and we would do a review. And in those cases, we would also get those inspection reports.
Okay. That's what I was checking. So, yeah, if that's the deal in most cases, then it would probably be the same here.
Wonder who the third party inspector is.
Oh, it's Stantec. It's Stantec.
And those third-party inspection reports will be kept on site with the stormwater, the SWIP binder. So all the inspection logs are being kept on site, are being documented, managed, and controlled. I'm sure Stantec could probably package those up and send them over to the county Amber if they wanted to review it. But those
Yeah.
will all be insight in the job trailer.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, doesn't the county have to review it? Don't we
No.
have to review that anyway?
Well, you don't you don't have to review it. The CPCN puts this firmly under the jurisdiction of DNR for approvals and that kind of thing. So,
Which the county is an arm of to regulate that.
right, right.
So the county should be getting this. I think if we go back how many years it was, I think that could have been one of our conditions on approving this.
You can check the JDA for approval
Okay.
but yes, all the reports will be shared with the county. They've been given the stormwater management report. We should be getting them the final design layout this week. I think that's what we're working on before we apply for the NOI. So yeah, it's on schedule.
So you're gonna have all these permits here by July 10th? All these
Yeah.
to be able to start?
Yep.
And you're working with the DNR, Wisconsin? All right, good luck.
You would be surprised.
Yes, we will be.
So are there other stormwater questions?
Anybody else questions? No, you guys are good? Okay, no, we're good there.
Okay. So I think we'll bring back either Paul or Jason to talk about the emergency response plan and the meeting we had on site with the emergency responders.
Am I back?
Listen, Europe.
Oh,
Yep. Jason, you just need to
Cool.
speak up a little.
Okay, so the emergency response plan, it is something of a living document. We did have a meeting almost, a month ago at this point with all the local emergency responders. One of the things that came out of that was, yes, use 911, all of that kind of good stuff. But one of the things that they requested and we're actively working on right now is assigning addresses for every gate so that there's no question or cross-referencing of maps or anything about that. We just say, all right, this is the address you need to go to. Their routing system routes the closest person and we get there as we need to. So that will be managed from the job site. We're going to have radios on site for communication if anything does happen. Ideally, really what our principal goal here is that we don't ever have to make that call. So we do have a plan in place to make sure if something does happen, but really the goal is to not have to use 911. So from that standpoint, we've got the plan. We're going to follow up again with them right before or right after we mobilize to have a meeting on site. They were all great with that. And just make sure to keep the communication open and make sure they know we're here.
Was Lisa McMahon part of that discussion from the county?
I saw Lisa was on the call here today. She's
yeah.
She has her hand up.
Unmuted.
I can't see if it's.
Can you hear me?
yes, we can.
There we are.
Yeah, hi. So I received an invite to the meeting, but unfortunately I couldn't make it. So I have not seen any of the plans or any of the safety information yet. Hopefully maybe those can get emailed to me or shared with me in some other way.
Yeah, I can email that to you.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
How about all the other, what other agencies were there then? I mean, for the emergency response, I mean, for the fire, whatever, can they shoot water? I mean, was that gone over? I mean, say there was a grass fire. I mean, do the firemen know if they can shoot water there or not, or what?
Yeah, they covered. Jason, go ahead.
So up until we actually put power, like there is no restriction on using water to, suppress a grass fire. There is once we start actually energizing, to re-engage with them and have more specific training about what you can and can't do. So there is a plan in place to follow up on that, but right now, I mean, there is no restrictions. They understand that we offered if they need some backup, we're gonna have a water truck on site, but I want them to use us as a tool rather than us making assumptions and putting somebody else at risk.
Wasn't it one of our major concerns, wasn't it? to
Yeah.
know?
Cause that's in the corner. There's 4 different fire departments that
Yeah.
cover the area.
Yeah.
Clayton, Amory, Apple River and Turtle Lake.
They were all invited to the meeting.
Do you know who was all there?
I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. There were about 20 people there. I'm not sure. I don't know all the, because it's more of a construction thing. I don't know. Cassie, do you have a list of who was attending?
Yeah, I can speak to that. And if we could give Tim Bloom the power to unmute himself, please. He's our lead project manager. I'm the associate supporting him. Thank you. It seems as though that's been granted. So Tim, if you would like to speak up, I will mute myself and you can go ahead with that answer.
Hey, thanks, Cassie. So I wasn't able to be on the kickoff call with all the fire departments, so we can get back to speaking to that. But I can speak as a project management team side for what you'll expect to see, as well as working with Jason. So when we worked for the emergency response and the fire response, obviously we have the initial plan that we put in place. But as Jason said, it's an active process, right? And it follows us all the way through construction, and then it's going to follow into the operations side of the park as well. My background is specifically spent 16 years in the wind industry, and I've been here just shy of a year now on the solar side. And I am in a small rural community as well. I'm an active firefighter on a local fire department here. And so what we'll do is that through the life of the project, we'll have emergency action drills that will involve them in, you have maybe tabletop exercises. We'll try to do like an emergency response drill from the National Grid side paired up with our EPC contractors so that we keep it alive throughout the project. And then you start looking at the varying things that could happen, right? So as we get into the phases of energization, as we look in the inverters, as you look at grass fires, the emergency response itself is more than just a fire. There could be electrical shock. There could be, we have people that go into, have had diabetic issues on site, slip, trips and falls. So a lot of the different things that they may see, we cover those, and we keep that as an active living document that as we continue to progress throughout the project, we'll keep them involved with it. So I know we've got one at a project in Ohio. We've got a tabletop drill, and then on a quarterly type, basis, we like to try to keep them there and schedule that with the team. So, and then from there, when it gets into operations, it gets transitioned over to the operations side, and they do the same thing, keeping that active with the EMS and the fire, so that they're doing, generally speaking, twice a year, some sort of a rescue drill, so that they're involving them. And then answering really any of the questions they have so that they're very familiar with the project and anything we do in emergency response.
That seems.
Tim, I can fill in some of the blanks. Some of those topics were brought up with the locals about, doing mock drills and such things. Really, it's at their discretion. We did offer, and we are going to continue to offer. Something we're going to revisit with them when we go to mobilize.
That was a big question that our committee was going through and different people were asking. So that'll help. Okay.
Are there any other questions about any of the stuff we talked about?
Is this the name it's gonna be now?
Apple River.
Apple River National
yeah.
Grid Renewables or whatever? Okay.
It will be Apple River Solar.
Okay.
That's the name of this particular project.
Oh, it's sold again. Oh, it starts. Okay. All right. Anybody, any questions? All right, then. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you.
I think Lisa had her hand up again.
Oh,
Yeah, hi. Sorry, just one real quick question. I think part of the original process, like a year ago, was to talk with like local pipeline companies. Were there any pipelines in the area? Sorry if I haven't been able to keep up with that, but I haven't heard.
That's okay. I think we have, I don't think there are, but I don't remember in the final layout. We do have a crossing agreement. We do have crossing agreements that we'll have to do for the real estate side, but I don't know off the top of my head if, I don't know if any of the engineers on the call know.
Amber, I'm looking through the real estate crossing agreement right now. We do not have any underground
so.
gas lines.
Yeah, I
any
didn't
high
think so.
pressure gas lines.
No,
Okay.
not that we
Yeah.
would cross. Yeah.
Not that you'd have to cross or deal with
Mm-mm.
for the major ones. Okay.
No.
We
Thank
have
you.
one more, Eric.
Yeah, Amber, this is Eric with the Polk County Land and Water Resources Department. Karsten and I here are handling the stormwater piece to this. And, you know, so far, I want to reiterate some of the requirements and per our stormwater and erosion control ordinance, we have the ability to review larger DNR stormwater projects, plans, permits, and so forth. So there's the authority we have to do some review and inspections and so forth. One question that I have here, since we have only gotten the preliminary stormwater management report, in the narrative, it says that construction stormwater requirements and information on construction stormwater management for the project will be included as a separate study. Is that available or has that study been done? And I guess my concern is, as well as others, is this is coming up on a short timeline now and it hasn't gotten to DNR and we haven't really seen completed studies or reports. So just for clarity and reassurance, if there's somebody on this call that could elaborate on that, be appreciated.
Craig,
Amber,
do you
would
want to take that? Okay, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, I can jump in. We did prepare a stormwater management report on May 17th. I don't know if that document has made it into the county's hands. I guess I would probably need to defer to Amber on what you guys have been provided and what you haven't been provided, though.
So we have that in our hands. The concern there is it's preliminary. And it says preliminary right on it, or is that the final?
It's anything prior to issued for construction is just in our industry considered preliminary. Ideally, we aren't expecting any layout changes at this point. We're not really expecting any changes to the stormwater approach and the stormwater design for Apple River. A bulk of the changes we'll be seeing moving forward are predominantly related to electrical routing and the pile design. So, I guess I'm probably not the one who could eliminate the like preliminary label on it, but we're not expecting any changes moving forward at this point. And I can talk with the team. We would probably be fine or providing another document to the 90% if there were any modifications, but I'm not expecting any changes based on that report.
Okay, well, that's helpful. I guess from here forward, then, when you get approval from DNR and please forward, you know, that stormwater permit package to Karsten, our staff here, and I would hope that in the meantime we'd be you know, having some conversations as that moves along. Who would be the best contact out of this group for stormwater questions and conversations?
Amber, are you kind of handling a bulk of the correspondence with the county and funneling it to our team? I don't know exactly how that.
I am, but if you want, if you want, a call with the engineering team, I can set that up. If, you know, our point person is Andrew, who couldn't be on this call today for Westwood, who's doing the stormwater design for Bolt. So there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen, I guess I'll say. So I don't know that there's necessarily, I am the point person for the permitting. So, you know, all that can route through me. I can set up a meeting with whoever needs to have the stormwater discussions or further discussions, or we can have Andrew reach out to you.
Very good. Thank you. We appreciate the clarity.
Sure.
Yeah, make sure it's, go ahead.
Amber, I just got one question. You mentioned your first slide was a 60% done off your 60% plan. The gentleman just mentioned that'll go into 90%. When will you have 100% plans completed for state review?
The state doesn't really review the 100% plans. I mean, we provide those, but we don't expect changes once we provide the 90% plans. They get the as-built, just as you will get as-built once the project is complete. But as we go through the iteration of plans, those are all provided to the PSC, which become part of the docket.
Are you at 90% then now, 4 weeks out from start?
I'm not sure. That's a Westwood question where we are in the plans. I know we're reviewing and there's red lines back and forth, but I don't know where the actual status of that is.
Yeah, I don't have the schedule in front of me, Amber. I thought that the 90s were scheduled sometime later this month in June. Then the intention was to IFC middle of July, but I'd have to go and pull up in the formal schedule, but that's ballpark of what we're tracking on our end.
Right. I
That
would
sounds
say
right.
that's accurate for most of the engineering. I know we were talking, pushing the 90s out for the SWIP specifically here in the next week or so.
All right, thank you.
And that'd be the civil package that Jason's referring to.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. How many is there? It's county road there too, so they need county. So do you anticipate to have to shut any roads down? Or
No.
just, you're gonna bore under, cross, you won't have to shut any
Correct.
roads completely down? Okay,
That's correct.
all right,
There's a hand raised.
where you looking?
MJ.
Yes,
Oh.
that is Mark Johnson. He's our lead construction manager. I believe that his question was actually already answered, but Mark, if he could be unmuted, please. I think he wanted to contribute to the fire safety meeting that we had on site.
Oh,
Yeah, no, thanks, Cassie. No, I think there was a question about who we met with that day. And it was at the Turtle Lake Fire Department. But I couldn't remember the other jurisdictions that were there was,
I'm
remember,
actually able to
Cassie?
answer that. Yep.
Okay, yep.
So we had invited all 4 townships that are part of the project. We had Beaver, Apple River, and Amory representatives there. All of their fire chiefs attended, as long as 1 or 2 other folks on their volunteer squad. Clayton and Lincoln were both also invited, but were unable to attend that day and were given kind of an agenda of what we went through. So they do have a paper version of that.
okay. Is that what Lisa was looking for? Even a paper version to get started? Is she still on?
Yeah, I mean, that would certainly help to see what was presented at the meeting and then just to see their emergency plans. That I think that was originally agreed upon.
Yeah, and that was provided to the county, but I can send that directly to you, Lisa. That's not a problem.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. If I saw it, it was over a year ago.
This is new. This is new. We just, it just got rolled out in the last month. So.
Oh, well, yep. Thank you. Then go ahead and send it.
You're welcome.
See, that's how much stuff has changed from
Who's
that
the
year.
county contact?
Our county? Who, Jim, you're the contract? Okay.
Yeah,
Tim
Tim's been
Anderson
my
is ours.
contact. Yep.
Okay,
We also have retained HDR, and I think Nick is on this call. They are going to help facilitate questions. We have set up a project email and project phone number for any concerns or questions coming in, and HDR will help be the liaison all during construction for any concerns or calls that come in. And help make sure that we get it to the right person and the right department. So if there's any concerns about anything, noise, stormwater, dust, whatever.
okay. That's good to know too, yeah.
So that's like a consulting firm or something that you
Yep,
hire?
yep.
A PR.
Yep, that's correct. And I'm on. So if any questions, please do reach out and we'll be happy to get those answered promptly for you.
So if they're calling a consulting firm or, I mean,
They're
that's when
calling-
you're hired, they're calling there for a concern, a question, whatever. What is the expected response time then if somebody calls in with a question? They're not talking directly to you guys.
It goes to, it's a project email and phone number. So it goes to internal people and it goes to Nick. He works for HDR, which is an environmental services company. So the expected turnaround, it depends on the question, but typically 24 to 48 hours. If there's not a direct answer, yeah.
Amber, when will we get the contact number for emergency 24-hour response for issues that come up on the project, whether it be traffic related or storm related? That we get immediate response. Is there a contact number for that we can get?
Yeah, that's our, I think that goes to our ROC. Is that correct, Tim or Cassie?
I apologize. What was the question regarding the data that's shared to the REC?
No, when will they get the a man line that's available 24/7 for emergency issues?
A phone number?
Yeah.
We do have a site phone number already set up, and then you are correct, our ROC remote operating center will, we can provide that phone number because that is manned 24 hours.
Yeah.
Amber, if you'd like, I can send that to you and then you can share it with the group.
Yep, I can do that.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Okay. Any other questions? Are we pretty good? Okay, everybody's, hopefully we're covered. All right, now, thank you for the
Thank
presentation.
you. Yes, thank you very
Yes.
much. Have a good day.
Yep. They answered the question. Two. All right, so that's actually happening. How many different names and people came through? My goodness. Okay. Number 12. Now your update.
Yeah, so
Let's get caught up here.
I can come up.
Yep.
I don't have a lot for the division director's report. As Logan had mentioned, June is our busiest month in the zoning division. It also happens to be one of our busiest months in land and water resources as well. The office is buzzing. We do have our 3 new interns that have started, 2 of them on the land and water resources side working on projects. And we do have our GIS intern that has started that's funded through our NG 911 grant program. He's helping with NG 911 data acquisition and contacting towns and things. So yeah, so that's exciting. We have all 3 of them on site. I need to defer a little bit during the division director's report to Eric to talk about 2 items that he really wanted to talk to the committee about. One of them is the Northwest area training opportunity that's coming up in June. Maybe a valuable resource to new members. And just he can talk about that specifically. Also, in the past, Land and Water Resources had a conservation easement program where the county actually went out and purchased easements. We have an opportunity that had dissolved or had been unfunded, but currently we have Half Moon Lake is looking at developing a conservation easement. And so just kind of wanted to introduce that to the committee today and talk about how that may proceed through the summer at no cost to the county, just where the county would hold it for perpetuity, that easement. So if you guys are okay, Eric can kind of come up and talk about those two items.
Sure.
Now that's about all. I'm sure I'll do some sort of fancy wrap. Yeah, I mean, I can come
And
back.
the tax deed one, we got that, so we're good then. Okay.
Thanks, Sarah. So I'll lead with continuing the conversation about the conservation easement. So years ago, in the Balsam Lake Priority Watershed Program, there was money through that grant program to purchase conservation easements. And as Sarah indicated, that money is no longer available through the county in our programming, but conservation easements still are available through DNR funding and things like that. So it's still a thing, but we're not dealing with it as we did 15, 20 years ago. There are a number of conservation easements out there, and one of them is the Harder Creek easement on Half Moon Lake. And there is a conservancy that has kind of managed that easement, but the county is the easement holder. And there are some citizens around that lake that want to continue preserving some of the parcels around that lake for resource protection, habitat protection, and so forth. And they have come to us to present the idea of another easement whom they've received approvals from the current landowner to do this and set aside, I think it's 15 or 20 acres thereabouts on the remaining stretches of Harder Creek into Half Moon Lake. So the Kaiser family owns the property at the moment, and they agreed to carve out or delineate part of this 40 and add covenants to it to prevent development, agricultural use, deforestation, enhance habitat protection, things like that to improve water quality. So this area, just to briefly describe it, it's mostly lowland, wet area, and it would provide a fantastic buffer for water quality. It's limited to its uses is what I'm trying to say. Some of the covenants in previous agreements that are on the Harder Creek property just north would be they may not use the parcels for livestock purposes. They may not produce cultivated agricultural crops. They may not pasture, graze the premise, alter the vegetation cover or other natural features. No new structures of any kind, things like that. And then it allows the grantee, which would be the county, specifically Land and Water Resources, to access the property, kind of make improvements, manage vegetation if needed to enhance it, things like that. One of the things that the citizens involved in this conversation have mentioned is they and the landowner would appreciate this too, or requested that there would be no public hunting. So that was one of the things that would be added, which is different from the Harder Creek easement just north, which allows hunting on that premises. So the parcel would still be under private ownership, so it would still be on tax roll. It would just be some added covenants through a conservation easement. And I could share the conservation easement on the Harder Creek property. They've requested to use an easement template much like this. So if you're interested, I can share that out. But that's kind of the briefing on that. And so we'll have more at the next meeting. we need to consult with Corporation Counsel and others on the best path forward and then present it for your decision.
Okay. So could it be considered floodplain too if it's lowlands?
I believe it's very likely. It's very likely.
So that's restricted pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ways anyway.
I don't know the official designation of it at this point. I haven't looked into that yet, but
okay.
I'm just, based on what I know about the property, it's very likely.
So the pros and cons, what would be not to do it? What would that be? There's no gain there if we don't do it.
You know,
self-protected or what? Or why is the county being involved? To help protect it or what?
To help ensure protection in perpetuity. The county is seen as, you know, a longer term representative of the easement or grantee. And so they came to us because of the longevity of having the county hold the easement, if that makes sense.
Eventually it could be sold because it's private property.
Yeah. The only other entity that could be an easement holder could be their conservancy. And I'm unsure about this, but you know, there could be questions on the longevity of that organization too. I don't know, but it's felt that the county is a better easement holder.
Just to clarify, just my understanding, so that they want the county to do a conservation easement or work with them to have that put on the property, but it's still a private piece of property.
Correct.
So it's still on the tax roll. So then when it changes hands though, that easement and all those covenants stick with it.
That's correct.
So basically 12, and what did they say, 12 acres? So basically 12 acres of that is untouchable in essence for any future land.
I have a.
Maybe I made that up. I know, I was thinking there was something somewhere that I made a comment about 12, but maybe I was thinking something.
Give me a moment here and I'll look.
Okay. For whatever reason, that number just stuck in my head.
Something, I think it was. Yeah.
Well, I'm paper state. I'm just gonna pass this around quick. This is just a very preliminary map. This black line is the approximate location of the easement delineation. And so I'm guessing it's in the neighborhood of 10 acres and you could pass that along, but it's just buffering the, I'll need that back, please. But it's yeah. Careful with it. It's buffering the creek. So it's giving a buffer to the creek.
So Eric, does that easement allow public access for non-hunting activities or is it just for the land and water office? 'Cause at one point you said for the land and water office to go do things.
Yep.
And then you said no hunting. So I guess my question is does that allow public access on that portion? So is there gonna need to be signage? Is that gonna need it to be mapped out so people aren't walking around the whole thing or what does that look like?
It's very possible that the easement could include public access. It all depends on how that easement is written up. So, and that's to be determined yet. And I think there would need to be further conversations with the owners and the conservancy and the county on what their wishes were. But as of right now, the only thing that I believe the current owner feels strongly about is no public hunting access.
Looks like you can almost only use a canoe to get in there anyway.
Maybe.
To walk on it. I mean,
Right.
well, waders.
And so you were talking about to the north of that. So is it the next 40 to the north is?
The other one.
That's the Harder Creek easement. Yep.
So that whole 40 would have public hunting and everything.
Correct.
So they could access it that way as well.
A little bit of it, yeah.
Yep.
But did you see all the,
I know.
if you look at that, it's lowland.
Yeah.
And that easement was established in 2005.
Those cabins are down there.
Well, that'll,
Eric said we'll work with council.
Yeah.
Develop next steps. It's more of an introduction, so you guys are.
yeah, to kind of do it.
Well, thanks for that. I think we set the stage well for that conversation and there's more to come.
Sure.
The next item I have, and thanks for your time. I I didn't expect to take this long, but I want to start with a question. Do you all get emails from the Wisconsin Land Plus Water Association on trainings and meetings and other opportunities and so forth?
I get mine from the DNR. I didn't.
Okay.
County email.
A while ago, Matt Kruger from Land Plus Water announced some upcoming trainings for Land Conservation Committee members, which is you all, and land conservation employees. And there is going to be a training and a meeting June 14th up in Sawyer County. And it's an important meeting because there will be board of directors or area representatives elected for the board of directors. And that meeting will also be a training for Land Conservation Committee members. So I would encourage those that have an interest and have the time and maybe becoming more involved. A wonderful organization. It's a great way to understand the relationship between committee members and conservation employees. It would summarize conservation issues at hand and kind of give you a sense of the directions or the thought process behind addressing those issues. And it would give you some guidance on your roles and land conservation employee roles and so forth. So a wonderful opportunity. It would be probably most of the day, I think, on June 14th in Sawyer County, which is the Hayward Government Center.
We would have gotten that email from,
Matt, well,
I mean, I have one for the 6/24 meeting. That's a virtual meeting.
okay. Well, with your permission, I could share this email. This was just sent to the county conservationists across the state. And I wasn't really sure if it all got into the committee members' inboxes. There is registration for this, and I think if you have an interest in going, we should register fairly soon.
They funnel,
Send that.
you could tell us if you
Yeah.
wanted to register, we'd be
Yep,
happy to
yep,
register
we
for
could,
you.
we could register on your behalf.
What's the 14th on?
Self-employed on Friday.
I believe that's a Friday. Can we check the calendar?
14th is a Friday,
It's a Friday.
Friday before.
Yeah, but that'd be on.
I think it would be worthwhile, especially for new members.
So you'll get that information to us. So
I would be happy to send this email. Yep.
Yep.
And I can give you some more.
Mine's different.
Do that today. So check your emails.
Yep.
If there's interest, perhaps we could even coordinate transportation. You know, if people wanted to maybe ride together, we could certainly do that as well.
I'm glad you mentioned that. I was thinking it, but I appreciate it.
where in Sawyer County is it going to be at?
The government center, the Hayward Government Center. Yeah,
No.
right in town. And if we're able to ride share, we're right where we're going. So happy to.
They have a good jail on that side. That's why you know where it is.
I haven't been to that part of it, but I know where the meeting room is.
Say, do we have an update? They're changing some mine stuff. I see
Yeah.
we got an email for that too.
Yeah.
Non-metallic milestone from Dane.
Oh, sure.
That come to the next meeting too?
I believe so. Notice of hearing, I
Yeah,
think it was. Yeah, I'm refreshing my
yeah.
gears.
So that should be on our radar too then.
Be on the radar.
Okay.
Yep. I don't have too much more to share on that one, but yeah, I would think that would be hearing upcoming.
Okay, so that can get noticed and stuff, because that, is it a class 2 on that one too, I think? Notice, do you have to have the 30-day on that one?
I believe so.
Probably. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time.
Okay.
I'm just gonna offer the same. If there's any other questions, that's the end of my mission director.
Your official director.
That was
Okay.
great. Yeah.
That works well when they both. So then that's the stuff we gotta put on the next meeting.
Yeah.
So we'll have land and water in that mine deal. We'll see if that's the hearing.
Did we need anything regarding taxi properties on the next one, or is that deferred out until the fall
I would defer that out till they have that.
for the treasurer? Okay.
Yeah. And then in our work plan, it had the county owned properties, but that's the administrator's job, so we get dumped that.
I also just wanted to quickly mention that we did have one of the members of our Board of Adjustment was up for reappointment, and Mark Kopp did express interest to stay as that appointment. So I believe Administrator Norby will be passing that along to the full county board in July.
Okay. Did we advertise for anybody else?
Huh?
Did we advertise if anybody else is interested or not? It's okay. Just,
And we do have 2 more members at the end of the summer that are going to be coming due as well. So
so we should advertise or something or
yeah,
be appointed.
discussing that with
Okay.
administrator on handling.
Yeah, so the tax deed should jump down to about October or something. So we can get that.
We'll put on the Apple River zoning for next
Yes.
month.
Yep. And the Apple River zoning public hearing will be held then July 3rd. It is July 3rd is that date of, I also wanted to mention the date being so close to the 4th of July. We normally don't change that.
Do we want to go to the next week, not to screw up a week then?
The next week would be general government, so you can't just.
On Wednesday?
Yes.
Really? We can bump them.
Mm.
I
The
don't,
other option would be.
is everybody gonna be here the 3rd? I mean, we don't want to say that we're gonna have a meeting and have 2 of us show up.
I'll be here.
Yeah, we did the other one.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
I'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wednesday.
We all
Yeah.
here.
So
We can
Wednesday,
leave
yes.
it, yeah. Okay.
I wouldn't miss it.
Doug's got something.
Yep.
This would be up to you, but at the next meeting, I'll explain it then, but I'd like to have a talk about district changes that we're doing.
The what?
The district changes. Zoning, just like today, we had 2 of them.
Yep.
I just would like to go through that. We got a new member, a new term, and just want a little update of where we're moving on that.
The rezones, you mean?
Is that something for staff, Supervisor Rowdy, or is it like?
No,
something to
no,
discuss
you guys know your answer. I just like to go through it again.
The process?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I just have a couple comments I'd like to make about it.
Okay, so district change process.
Yeah, and that's different from a CUP, so that,
Right.
so we should maybe put that so we know it's,
We're not discussing the CUPs at all.
no, but I mean, so that we know the differences. That's, I think, what we have to make sure, that we don't ask the questions we shouldn't ask
Yeah.
at each one.
Okay.
Yes, that would
That'd
be good.
Yeah.
Zoning administrator will not be present at the next, next meeting.
Have any public hearings then, for any
This-
district changes or anything?
There's one that came in, or it hasn't came in yet. They said they mailed the hard copy in, but it's for a district change so far, but I don't have any CUPs for that meeting.
Okay, but there might be a district change.
Yeah.
If it gets in here, all right. So then what else do we have in that next meeting?
Unless you've seen them.
So the budget stuff is just kind of on there all the time
Yes.
You will have updated litigation from Malia.
at the next one.
Yep, and Malia will also take the head of, the lead on the town of Apple River zoning, extraction from county zoning.
July and August, I crossed out tax deed.
Okay.
Okay. Is land and water anything? Because you have groundwater study coming up. That's in October.
I was just.
Is that about the right timeline or can that move up? Or is that the right timeline?
So, yeah,
Is that the right?
that would be about the right timing, maybe even a touch early, as we would likely getting be getting results back around then.
Around then,
So I wouldn't want to do it any earlier than that.
okay,
I was kind of thinking in my mind if we had any other staff that could do a project presentation, looking at July being a little bit light.
yes.
So let me think on that, and poke around, and
But now you're gonna have your easement come up and the mine thing might be for July. It's Tuesday.
yes.
So then we'd have two public hearings. We'd have that change in the mine.
So it's filling,
Changes.
it's filling up.
It's filling up.
Yeah. So why don't we leave it alone there for a while?
Sounds good.
Okay,
Yes, and issue received.
yes. Application update. So then,
Next meeting.
the Apple River one, that could be a little bit too, going through that. What is that, about 30 pages?
I see your highlighter was wild.
Yeah, it works, yeah. Not on every,
You got time yet? Oh, it's really wild.
I just did, I was gonna ask where they got some of the numbers out there. Somewhat, 200 acre minimum and stuff. And I'm going,
Yeah. That too.
all right, then are we?
Legislative update.
Okay, yes.
The realtor, oral ruling on the realtor is tomorrow at 3:00.
What is it?
Judge Tolan's ruling on the realtor lawsuit.
Oh.
Is he gonna do that at 3?
That's supposed to be at 3:00 tomorrow afternoon.
3 o'clock tomorrow. Okay.
And are we gonna get there and it's gonna cancel again?
I didn't even sit down last time.
We didn't know.
We didn't get to sit down. He canceled.
And the county is waiting for, regarding the Blue Rock ruling, the county is waiting for the writ of cert to be filed from Force, Wisconsin, regarding that, so that it can move into circuit court.
Okay.
Those are the two updates.
One more, the Stour. The Stour will be on the county board agenda, a closed session for us to discuss
Sure.
options and what we're doing, and we'll have our attorney Matt Combs on that also. It's good to be aware of that.
So we're gonna have a committee of the whole then on the,
Closed session.
okay. We're gonna have both closed session, committee of the whole for that too, for discussion.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Open discussion. Any use in noticing a committee of the whole anymore. It just always is.
Pretty much open discussion.
Control of that.
So
Kim,
What else?
that's pretty much open discussion
Open
anyway.
discussion. Well, you should say that right away.
I will.
Yeah,
So are we ready for a motion?
yeah.
I make a motion, we adjourn. Second,
And a second, all those in favor say aye.
and tell me about this meeting on 3:00. Total.
See.